Hey, what's going on guys, and welcome back to another Fallout 4 mod review, and today we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about the R-91, specifically from the R-Series rifle mod by J36 Now, you may have seen this rifle appear on the channel before. This is actually part of a bigger project known as the lore-friendly 556 collection, though you can download the R-Series rifle on its own. But the R-Series rifle has undergone some very serious updates that are now completely different from how it came when it first came out. There has been a ton of new content added to this weapon, a couple of changes, and a couple of fixes that make this definitely one of the best R-91 mods out there on the Nexus right now. This gives you 3 new versions of the R-Series rifle. One is the standard defense rifle, which is chambered in 556. You have the prototype R-Series rifle, which is chambered in 308, and you get the prototype R-Series SMG, which is chambered in 10mm and is very akin to an MP5. Now, in this big update, we've got all kinds of new stuff, including new animations, new attachments, new sounds, and we're going to go ahead and get into all of that right now, starting with animations. So when it comes to the newly added animations, we have some completely custom, beautiful handmade animations done by Cadaver, and there are multiple animations in this mod. You actually get a different reload depending on which magazine you have equipped. So let's go ahead and run through them. This is the small magazine on the R-91 assault rifle. And then moving on, we have the medium magazine. And then, of course, we have the large magazine. On top of that, we also have these animations applied to the SMG. Since it does have a slightly thinner magazine, there are custom animations for this one as well. Now, while we're here, let's talk about firing sounds. Each of these weapons has their own firing sound depending on their caliber. So the SMG uses 10mm, but it does use the combat rifle sounds from the vanilla game. But honestly, I think they fit perfectly. Moving on to the assault rifle, which uses 556, this one is going to have a bit of a beefier noise, sort of similar to the one from Fallout 3, and this one is completely custom. And finally, that leaves us with the prototype R-Series rifle, which is using 308 and has its own custom sounds as well, and these are by far my favorite. Now then, the next big update with this mod is a bunch of new attachments, so let's go ahead and get into that now. There's not going to be much different in regards to receivers, that's all basically the same, but let's go ahead and run through everything else. For the barrels, we have the light, short, and long barrel, not much has changed there. For the stocks, we have the junk stock, the light stock, the infiltrator stock, which is going to add that classic Fallout 3 style infiltrator, the marksman stock, and the recoil compensating stock. For the magazines, we have the standard, medium, and large mag, all with their own custom animations now. For the scopes, this is where we have a lot of new stuff. We have some changes to the scopes that were already in the game. So all of the vanilla scopes are now put on risers so that they don't have to co-witness as much. So you have a nice, clear field of view. The same is true for all of the other reflex sights, but also we have the addition of all of the optics from the Westex optic mod. So that's really cool, and I think they look really nice on this weapon. Here is the Westex reflex sight. Here is the Westex hollow sight, which I think looks beautiful on the G3 platform. And then if we go down a bit further, we'll also see the marksman sight, which is a nice little lore-friendly ACOG. And I think that looks really cool on here as well. Throw that on the 308 version and semi-automatic, and I think you'll have a pretty powerful battle rifle. Also added in the update, though, we have a carry handle. Now, this has been an ongoing bit in my community Discord where we add carry handles to everything, even if it's unnecessary, and so J36 has decided to add a G36 style carry handle to the R-91, which looks absurd, but also somehow pretty cool, and this has a built-in little hollow sight, so that's really nice, and it's completely functional. I like that a lot. Another neat feature that has been added with this update is the ability to change out coatings on the R91, so you can choose the R91 coating or the XR92 coating, which will give you a nice shade of green. So like I said, there are 3 versions of this weapon in the mod. There is the defense rifle, which is actually going to come with this green coating by default, and then there is the SMG and the prototype R91. But if you wanted to change the green coating on the defense rifle, you can now do so and easily swap it out over at the workbench. So that's pretty neat and a cool bit of customization that J.Crews has added. One thing I did forget to mention is that along with all the new custom animations, there are also custom third-person animations. And these animations are going to be pretty much universal and will be used by all the versions of the R91 in this mod. Now, I think that covers most of the big stuff in this update. However, there are a lot of little changes that I feel like I should go over just to be thorough, so you know exactly what you're getting when you download this update, or if you're downloading this mod for the first time. So this is going to resize the mesh back to the original scale of the handmade rifle to better fit the animations and the proper scale of this weapon. There have been a handful of changes to the miscellaneous crafting parts and also changes to some of the crafting materials used in the crafting recipes. There have been fixes to a handful of attachments that were not using the proper meshes, so those will all be up to snuff now. The SMG now has access to a couple of parts that it didn't have access to prior. The infiltrated foregrip and the integral suppressor now work correctly on the SMG as intended. There is now a new model for the standard suppressor. Like I said earlier, those black and green skins are now craftable, and they spawn with a 50-50 chance of either of those appearing on the weapon. So if you find this out in the leveled list, there's a chance it'll spawn in green and a chance it'll spawn in black. But of course, you can change that over at the weapons workbench. The newly added G36 Carry Handle is going to spawn on the default version of the R-Series prototype rifle. The 5.56 label has been removed from the bolt, since that bolt is used on every version of the weapon, and it's much more immersive to not have that appear on something like a 10mm version of the gun. And finally, there have been some small tweaks to the sounds to make sure that all of the volume seems more in line with the vanilla game. And I think that wraps up just about everything. If you somehow haven't checked this mod out already, you definitely should. This has already been covered once on the channel before in the overall lore-friendly 5.56 collection review, so I will leave a link down to that below, as this is just a video to cover all of the new updates. But I highly recommend checking that one out if you're at all interested in this, because the 5.56 collection contains not only the R91, but also the New Vegas style of LMG and the classic Van Buren 223 pistol. Speaking on that, by the way, this update only counts for the standalone version of the R-Series rifle. J.Crews has stated that he will be updating the overall 5.56 collection pack as the other updates come out, since there are 3 weapons in there. So if you want to get this update, you're actually going to need to download the standalone version of the R91. It's very easy to do so. If you're on Xbox, it's already all separated anyways, and if you're on PC, you just head over to the optional files and it's right there, very easy to download. Last little bit to talk about is that there will be updates like this coming to the other weapons in the 5.56 collection as well, so we should be able to see at least some new attachments and things for the Van Buren pistol as well as the New Vegas LMG, so I'm very excited to see that in the near future. With that though, go ahead and check this mod out. It's absolutely amazing, and if you're already using it, go grab the new update because there's a lot of new cool content. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you like these little updates on cool mods that are out right now. If you'd like to see more stuff like this, be sure to drop a rating and let me know down in the comments. Consider subscribing if you haven't already for more videos just like this. A big shout out to all of my patrons for supporting every single video. And as always, a very special thank you to all my tier 3 patrons: Captain Chaos, Helljumper, Indecisive Wolf, Jackie Noyd, Timmy76, John Moreland, Cushy, Moonly Gamer Feed, and Youth RC. If you'd like to support the channel and the mods I work on over on Patreon, you can do so using the link down in the description below, but it's completely optional. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.